One thing I got to say about working at Leo Burnett, we would be in a room and you would present your work, and it'd be the media folks over here, the digital people over here, and they were good. And somebody from media would say something, and it's like, oh my God, that just opened my head. I remember one of this guy in this meeting, he said, everything is media. I go, wow, he's right. Everything is media. If I put, when I had hair, if I would write something in the back of my head in a haircut and you read it, that's a billboard if I'm walking behind you.
Yeah,
Facts.
He said, everything is media.
I literally used to get the Nike logo in the back of my head with a ball fade.
So what was that doing? That was
advertising.
That was advertising. And you was like, oh no, I just a cool swoosh in the back of my head.
And it cost my mama $7. It didn't cost Nike anything.
Right.
Let me tell you, that's breaking news on the Market Mentality. I didn't know that about that man right there. That's crazy.
You didn't know that?
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that. That's breaking
still
news.
learning.
Man.
Still
learning.
We rest on the shoulders of giants, and so do you. Who is someone who has paved a way into uncharted territory that was not there before they got there and paved the way for you to come through next? Who is someone who has broken through a glass ceiling and made it a little more safe for you to pass through without getting cut up? We rest on the shoulders of people like us and companies like ours, marketing agencies, advertising agencies, OGs who have left the industry better than they found it for us to come through. So as marketers, we appreciate those folks. We pay homage to those folks, and we learn from those folks because we're curious and it's necessary. And today we have the privilege of having an esteemed guest on the show who is just that. I'm Desmon Walker, host of Marketing Mentality, Alan Shelton, host of Marketing Mentality, and we have Lewis Williams as well. Lewis has been in the advertising industry for, we'll just say decades, right?
Yeah, just say decades.
We'll say decades. Lewis is no stranger to the Chicago landscape, from Leo Burnett to Burrell Communications to Weber Shandwick, and most recently Williams Creative Group. He's worked for globally recognized brands as clients, from American Airlines to McDonald's to Toyota and so on, and even Disney, we learned today. And as part of that, he's also earned himself and his agency's prominent awards, from Addies to the Silver Medal Award to New York festivals and so on. And we're here to dive all the way into it, Lewis, and kind of go back, but also come forward as well. And we want to know what you've seen. We want to know what you've heard. We want to know what we need to know, right? And everyone that's listening or watching that is curious about this industry needs to know. Okay. And with that said, Lewis, what's the Lewis Williams story?
Hey, guys. Alan, Des, thank you for inviting me on your show.
No problem, man.
The Lewis Williams story. It's still been written, you know? I mean, I was thinking about that. It's like, where I'm in my career, it's like a different phase of my career. And you mentioned like the OG and wear that OG banner with pride. But I'm still going because it's sort of what I've learned in this industry. When you get in a room, you see another door that you didn't know was there.
Right.
Then you go through that door in another room, there's another door that you didn't know was there. So getting to this stage in my career, for the amount of time and experience I have, I'm experiencing things for the first time. So the story is still being written. I will say I'm getting near the end of the book. I will say that. I'm getting near the end of the book, but right now it's almost exciting because it's almost full circle where you get that first job, you don't know what's going to happen. So right now I'm just trying to make sure I have the ending quote, which would never end, the way I want to end it.
Yeah. That's beautiful, man. It's when we were talking, having our pre-production or before the cameras started rolling, man, just your energy, your aura, the wealth of knowledge that you have about creativity and the seats that you set, but also just as history unfolds and as you've seen, man, it's truly inspiring, man. And me personally being in the creative industry, in the creative sector ourselves, as agency owners and things of that nature, it's beautiful to see someone that has that experience, but also still having enough. They don't live in the past, is what I'm trying to say, right? You're still forward thinking. You're still making waves. You still know what's going on, right? You're not getting lost in what was. So with that being said, man, creativity and creating things that people need to see is an art form. When we talk to people and we talk to interns or we go to different universities, everyone wants to be a creative, right? Everyone wants to have that, do the cute stuff, the stuff that millions and millions of people see. But from your perspective, man, how would you define creativity and how did you forge that path in your creative journey?
Well, creativity, everyone is creative. People will say that. Yeah. And I agree. But some people are just a lot better at it than others. All of us could play basketball, but we're not sitting on ESPN right now. And but creativity is personal. It's personal because any artist, and we just get in the world of creativity, it's sort of like, how are you able to express yourself? How are you able to see what's happening in the world around you? Yeah. How you are influenced by that, and what story you want to tell? Because we do have this talent to absorb things around us and then say, regurgitate that back out, whether it's a painting, whether it's an ad, whether it's a song, whether it's a dance. And sometimes that's just beautiful. You get just impressed with humanity did that. You saw it. And the most unique people, and when you're a pure creative, you're able to sort of when you bring it back and show it to other people, it's something that you appreciate. It's something that speaks to your mind, your heart, your soul in some kind of way. And I always kind of say it's like they're singers. Like we can sing in the shower. Then there was people like Luther Vandross. You know what I mean? It's like
the legend.
It's just something about when he sings, his voice sounds different. Right. So, but creativity is just a very personal thing. It's a talent. It's a God-given talent, and you take it and you run with it.
Yeah, I love that.
I read somewhere creativity is connecting dots. Just connecting dots, right? One thing to the other, from life to experiences to things that just make sense, whether it's, even if it's just making sense to us.
And sometimes it doesn't make sense,
Sometimes it doesn't make sense until it does. Louis, you have the notoriety of being former chief creative officer of an advertising agency named Burrell Communications. If you know advertising, if you know multicultural, you probably know Burrell, right? Can you explain to us that history that Burrell has played a part in when you think about advertising agencies in Chicago?
Yeah, I got to tell you, little unknown fact. Reason why I'm in Chicago is Burrell recruited me.
Is that right?
And I worked for 4 or 5 years just as a regular creative. And then I went to Leo Burnett for about 15, 16 years and came back as the chief creative officer. So little people know that I was, I was there first.
You were a first round draft pick.
So just as an intern or junior?
I was just, I came in as just a regular art director.
Okay.
Then I went away for a while and came back. But Burrell itself, now, another fact too, Chicago fact, is that I think maybe the first African-American agency in the nation was Vince Colors. 1954.
Wow.
It started in 1954. So I love your entrepreneurship, you guys, but people have been doing this a really long time. So Vince Colors was, hey, look, Black people are different. Black people should be marketed to differently. And he was saying that in 1954. Tom Burrell started in 1971. But, Tom got McDonald's, which really put him on the big national map and things like that. But then you have Carol Williams. So one thing, I'm getting to your answer a little bit, but one thing I love about Chicago when we came here was so many black agencies: Carol Williams, Vince Cullors, R.J. Dale, Burrell. So
These are the giants.
it was just like Chicago was like all of these black agencies. And I remember coming to Burrell, and before being out in L.A. Working at smaller agencies, I always was the only black person there.
Yeah.
Me and the mailroom guy, or me and the receptionist or somebody.
Yeah.
And I remember walking in, I'm like, that's a black copywriter. That's a black count person. That's a black art director. And then there's another one. And I was like,
Blown away.
I was blown away. It was like, you have never been to a HBCU before. It's like, oh my God. It's like,
It's black people.
all my people. And we're doing this, and they're all great and all good. So it was sort of like, and the culture was already established. So when I came on board, it was like, I'm coming to this establishment. You know, Tom Burrell made it famous. He started an agency based on an insight, which was black people are not dark-skinned white people.
Yep.
Black people are not dark-skinned white people. That's an agency based on an insight. So it was already up and running. And I remember working there, and I learned that I was not as black as I thought I was.
Wow.
Now I'm not saying I was an Oreo. No. I'm from the South. I knew being a black guy. What
Hey,
that
man.
meant.
Hey.
But I never stopped and say, well, on New Year's Day, my mother made black-eyed peas and greens.
Yeah.
Of
Staple.
course, but that's staple. Yeah. But why? What is the history of that? You know, what's the history of saying you're eating high on the hog? You go,
Oh, that's too country for me.
but I'm saying, but there's a concept behind that. You know what I mean? There's a concept because they only gave you the feet
Yep.
and things like that and the
off
chitlins.
the
So
animal.
you start saying you study your own culture like you never did before.
Yeah.
And then you start going to these places that you just, hey, because we always said that. We always did that. But you never ask yourself, why? So when you're looking for these creative ideas and you want to relate to your culture, to other people like you got to go deep. And it sort of allowed me to like really appreciate my culture even more, to see how unique and influential.
Yeah.
As you can see now, you know, it was a time general market agencies wouldn't do black stuff. They would send work to Burrell, or we don't do that. There's a black agency down the street. You can take that down there if you want that. But just being there is sort of like, my thing was to get there and continue and to learn from that. Yeah. And I got a lot of that from Tom Burrell himself, as well as working with other black creatives and account people and strategists and research people. And it's like, wow, okay, I'm learning how to be black even more.
Wow. That's amazing, man. You went back in time and you talked about how it's transformed, right? How you've seen it. So in that, man, since you've been in the game for a while and you've worked at various different agencies, general market, and for our audiences out there, what is general market agency? What is a general market agency?
What is a general?
Yeah, just so we can have that.
General market agency is basically was white agency. You know what I mean? That's basically what it put plain is like the general market. You know, white people, Caucasian, and you know that's really what that meant. You know, that was the code word for that.
Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to clear that up for our audiences out there. Yeah, because you know it's important to talk about.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're chasing as a black agency. We want to be not a black agency. We want to be general market because we understand that positioning to black people are our culture, black people are general market. That's like the thing that's going around, right? It doesn't have to be a separation, which is what you're saying, that what you've seen in your career. But can you talk about the evolution of that and how it has transformed or how it is transforming now in terms of general market and a multicultural agency?
We had this thing at Burrell called Leading with Cultural Insights.
Yep.
And that always been a playbook that worked. But again, you just didn't see it. It wasn't embraced by general market agencies, which is now called total market agencies. And right now, I think because of the evolution, we just call it agencies because black culture now is so so tapped into now. It is, like you said, it is just overall the general market as it was supposed to be. Now, general market is supposed to be all inclusive, but unfortunately, it wasn't all inclusive, right? But now it's much more like that. It was just really interesting to see where you guys too young for the Soul Train used to come on every Saturday.
Come on, don't hey, we remember the Soul Train. Like, you dance down the, you know what I'm saying, like the little moves.
So Soul Train,
Don Cornelius,
because you guys in digital marketing now, digital media. So at that time, that's when you would see all the black commercials. Doing Soul Train, or you would see all the black ads in Jet or Ebony magazines, right? And it was just really just put there, nowhere else. Corporations would not dare put it on the programs you see today. But I think simply because it evolved because the influence of black culture. And I think really what made it explode was hip hop. Hip hop made it just exploded, because I remember, I was walking down Michigan Avenue and I'm hearing Dr. Dre. I'm like, so I'm gonna look over here, right? It ain't what I thought I was gonna see. I thought I was gonna see a bunch of black guys listening to Dre on Michigan Avenue.
Right.
It was for white boys.
Wow.
So the influence of black culture, so that's back in the 90s, right? So hip hop got so strong, the fashion, the dress, the language, the swag, the attitude, the best-selling music genre, it just took over suburbia and youth culture. Youth culture always embraces that. So in the old days, I think white kids would listen to black music, but they had to do it on the down low. But now it's okay to play Dre on Michigan Avenue about a whole lifestyle they knew anything about. You go fast forward now. K-Dot, Kendrick Lamar, is on the Super Bowl. And the last 3 or 4 Super Bowls been black artists.
That's influence.
Are we talking about the Super Bowl? Now, what did the NFL know? So I'm just saying, at evolution, we've gone from Ebony, Jet, and Soul Train to the Super Bowl. And it's because it sells.
Of course.
That lifestyle, that swag, that music, that fashion sells and breaks through. I said, it's like if you gave me one, speaking creatively, you gave me one toolbox to work from creatively. I said, give me the black toolbox. Because the black toolbox is just so much stuff. It's loaded with creativity, innovation. A friend of mine, Nelson George, he's a great journalist. I interviewed him about the 50th anniversary of hip hop. And I asked Nelson, I said, what is hip hop? He said, hip hop is a bunch of black kids making something out of nothing. And when you think about that, how it started from that party up in the Bronx, you used your parents' records, you scratched, you didn't have any instruments, so you rapped on top of that. And now you created a whole music genre. You got the scratching back, but they had nothing. They didn't have any guitars, and they didn't have that. He says a bunch of black kids making something out of nothing. And you can see right now, it is global. So the evolution is sort of like, I think the young people embraced it. Then they grew up to be adults. And then that just became the playbook and the palette for all other creatives to draw from.
It makes perfect sense. You're saying hip hop was the big breaking point, or not breaking point, but breakthrough. Because, we all know music is a universal and global language. The situation you described on Michigan Avenue, I had that same situation a few weeks ago. I was jogging out in the suburbs on a trail, and there's like 4 white kids, probably in high school, look like they may be training for cross country or something, and they're carrying this speaker with them. And as they're approaching, we're coming from opposite ways. And as they're approaching me, as they get closer, I can actually pick up on what song it is. And lo and behold, it's a hip hop artist, Gunna, of all artists, Gunna, who's probably the hottest hip hop artist, in the culture, our black culture right now, that there is, had no expectation that Gunna is what I would be hearing jogging past these kids, man. Steve Stout, founder of Translation Advertising Agency, United Masters, he calls this phenomenon the Tanning of America. He has a book called Tanning of America. We've actually sat on the shelf here, and that's the phenomenon he describes. This kind of fusion of hip hop culture, black culture, with American culture, and most importantly, from a business perspective, corporate America as well.
Corporate America. Listen, hey, you got to go to where are your consumers? What are your consumers? What's going to be the breakthrough? And so now it's pretty standard where you can. And unfortunately, this innovation and this evolution, it's made it harder for black companies. Right? It's harder.
Tell me more about that.
It's sort of like Ohio State beat Grambling.
Yeah, bad.
70-0.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Okay. How many black athletes was on Ohio State?
A lot. Top athlete.
What if it was a time when they didn't let black athletes play? They would have been playing for Grambling. It would have been a different outcome.
Of course.
So now the general market agencies can hire black talent in the agencies as well as celebrities. And so what was unique, our niche more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They kind of like coming in with bigger dollars.
Taking the resources.
Taking the resources away. You know, and it's sort of like, okay, well, when I was at Burrell during the pandemic, I was losing one creative a week. Because it was like after George Floyd, it was about like, okay, you know, everybody had the George Floyd syndrome, and they was just snatching up. So they came to where the fish were.
Right.
And they was hiring like crazy. Well, Lewis, they're going to double my salary. What do you? I can't. We don't have that kind of deep pockets to double your salary.
Right.
And that's what happened. You know. So with that, I remember if you were a black when I was there the first time at Burrell, and a lot of stars would call Tom up themselves and say, "Put me in one of those McDonald's commercials. Put me in one of those Coke commercials." Because that's how they was going to get on TV. They don't have to call Burrell now. They just call the general market agencies go to the biggest talent now. So what was very uniquely ours, you know, it's the same thing that happened with black neighborhoods when it was segregation. We had the black doctors and the dentists and all of us was living together. And all of a sudden now with you know, that goes away. We can all move to different places, and then the neighborhood sort of like suffers from that.
We were self-sufficient.
Yeah, but then that's, you know, so it's good and bad in a way. But again, I still say if you being who you are and black agencies, you still at the core. You still at the place where it bubbles up.
Yeah.
You're still at the, you know what I mean? Because they only get it, general market agencies, I call them cultural tourists. They only kind of get it after it bubbles up.
Right, yeah.
You know, but you can get it at the core.
Yeah.
And then you got to always, now you just got to keep digging deeper now because unfortunately social media, they can see it. So I saw the other day, I saw this white girl crip walking, you know what I mean? I'm like, you know, right? And now it's like there's a crip walk, but the crip walk is now just a dance that people just do on TikTok.
I mean, you mentioned the Super Bowl. Just a couple of years ago, Snoop Dogg was on the stage at the Super Bowl.
Snoop Dogg and Dre on the Super Bowl. I mean, whoever thought that Snoop Dogg and Dre would be on the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
But then they made that deal with Jay-Z, I think. I don't want to misspeak. What the NFL was trying to get viewership back.
Yeah, Rock Nation.
Rock Nation, right? Yeah. So where did they go? They
went to the culture.
Went to the culture, and then it's like,
and it helped. Yeah.
This is actually a great segue, right? So on the topic of culture, right? When you're at the table, right, or ever been at the table, and it's, you know, whether it's a campaign or a particular piece of creative, Lewis, how have you protected Black culture? And when does, you know, what we call cultural relevance now kind of become cultural extraction, or as Dame Dash likes to call it, you know, culture vulture?
Culture vulture. Yeah. Strategy.
Strategy.
I mean, it's like we just don't do stuff just to do stuff. I mean, so you can't come in and go, I'm black, and since I'm black, then I'm telling you what it should be, what it should do. You have to, it still is business. We can't, at the end of the day, we are in business, right? We are smart people. We have intelligence. We're not just, it's not about just creativity. We have that too, but it's strategy. It's strategy and planning and all those kinds of things. So when we present who we are, I'm at the table. I'm not presenting, hey, you should do this because it's black and it's cool. Strategically, we're trying to solve a problem. There's a marketing or business problem we're trying to solve. Yeah. This is the best way we're going to go about solving that problem. Mm-hmm. I just so happen to use KDOT in that because why? He is the best person to bring this to life. So you got to, that's really where you come from. Right. And that's why some of the best stuff is rooted in a strategy that works creatively. But it's not that, you can't sit at the table and say, just because I'm black and I'm the only one at the table, you should do it. Mm-hmm. That's not good business. Yeah. And you fall on your face when the culture vultures come in, you come in because there's no really true strategy. You're just trying to be executional. You know what I mean? Because Tom Burrell talked about it's the strategic level, the conceptual level, and the executional level. Mm. So all of those things have to be working. And so if all those things are working, regardless of who's doing it will work. So those basic foundation of advertising doesn't go away just because we're talking about black culture. Right. You know what I mean? It's some basic things that you need to do in marketing to check those boxes. Yeah. And then it's going to work for you. It just so happened, we got a hell of a toolbox. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's it to draw from.
Yeah. That's amazing. As a creative now that's watching this, mm-hmm. whether you have a job or you're looking to get into a different job, our audience is watching this, what would you say the best way to get into an agency as a creative this day and age, right? You don't have a whole bunch of experience, but you're talented, you're coming out of college or, whatever mm-hmm. the case may be, and you're mm-hmm. looking to get into the agency world and do some campaigns that mm-hmm. matter to you. Mm-hmm. What's somebody's like that? What's their pathway?
First thing, I think you have to understand the industry you want to be a part of. Mm. You have to, and right now, you can go in this little box we call Google or whatever, and you can ask it any question you want to do, any question you want to ask it, right? Mm-hmm. And it will tell you. But you have to understand, what is this industry I'm choosing to go into? And do your homework. And do your homework, what was done when your grandparents existed. You know what I mean? So that you're coming in with a wealth of knowledge. So when you start putting all this stuff together, you're coming in as a great student of the business. Mm-hmm. And so when you're having conversations with people, they know that you are. Yeah. From your references. When Volkswagen did such and such, when Coca-Cola did this back when it was the old Coke to the new Coke, back to the old Coke. Oh, this person is more than talented. They're a thinker. Yep. They understand the industry and they understand the job I want to hire them to do. Mm-hmm. Right. And my concern now is that we're getting too executional. Mm-hmm. That we think, let's execute something first. There's no thought behind it. There's no strategy behind it. And since right now execution is key. I mean, everybody has a phone. Everybody can go and be a content maker. I can get all these views, so I think I got it. But you don't have that foundation, and you don't really understand your industry. And you might get some overnight success. Oh, I did this, I posted this, and I got 30,000 views on TikTok. But can you do it again? Do you know what you did?
The formula.
What was the formula that you came up with that made people? Yeah. Because you do the next one, it's got 2. Now, how can you do that on call? How can you do that on demand? So if you're a young person, just study the industry, all kinds of advertising. You go to all these different awards shows and study the gold winners and the silver winners. If you're a copywriter, read the copy. We don't write copy. We read a headline world now. You know what I mean? But if you're a copywriter, read the copy on some of the older ads, and you'll find the copy is just as good as the headline. You know, just really just understand, because since we don't do print anymore, it's sort of like concepts are going away. And another thing I would say that, okay, don't come with an execution, talk about what is the concept, because a concept can be there even if the execution is bad. And understand the difference in that. And I think right now we're just so quick, because we have the tools, to jump in on the doing part of things versus the thinking parts of things. Wow. So if you're a thinker, let them know that you're a thinker, and put the kind of examples in your book that shows your thought process. Yeah. Say, that's smart. Yeah. That's smart. And then you will separate yourself from other people trying to get into business.
Yeah. To that point, I have another question I want to ask, since you said that's a great soliloquy you went on in terms of like the process and being able to rinse and repeat the things, right? We work in a world in marketing where it's ever changing, you know? So sometimes it's hard to nail it in the coffin every single time, but you at least have the general area from a GPS perspective of how to get there again versus that direct spot. So I love that. Speaking personally from your perspective, right? You're chief creative officer at Burrell, and you know, in that realm for a long time. What was your what does your day-to-day look like? What was your process? How did you get to that level of success, and how did each day look, or how did you attack a strategy, or like how did you really break that down as you just explained it to me right there?
Well, it just took a long time to get there. I remember my first job out of college. It was a man by the name of Bob Quate. We worked at an agency called Phillips Ramsey in San Diego. He told me, he said, it takes 5 years before you know what you're doing. And of course, it's taking you 5 years. Don't take me 5
I'll do it in 2.
And you're young too. 5 years like 50, right? 5 years. But he was right. And so you do some things sometimes from instinct. Yeah. And either you're copying what somebody else did. And as a creative, you really maybe don't understand strategy yet. So it took a while to understand and put all those things together. Yeah. You know, and then it's like, okay, now after the 5th or 6th year, I began to understand the process. And I never stopped learning. Then you learn from other people that's not creatives. One thing I got to say about working at Leo Burnett, we would be in a room and you would present your work, and it'd be the media folks over here, the digital people over here, the strategists over here, the research people over here, the media people over there, and they were good. And somebody from media would say something, and it's like, oh my God, that just opened my head. I remember one of this guy in this meeting, he said, everything is media. I go, wow, he's right. Everything is media. If I put, when I had hair, if I would write something in the back of my head in a haircut and you read it, that's a billboard if I'm walking behind you. Yeah, facts. He said, everything is media.
I literally used to get the Nike logo in the back of my head with a ball fade.
So what was that doing? That was advertising. That was advertising. And you was like, oh no, I just a cool swoosh in the back of my head.
And it cost my mama $7. It ain't cost Nike anything.
Right. Let me tell you, that's breaking news on the Market Mentality. I didn't know that about that man right there. That's crazy.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that. That's breaking news. That's amazing. But I'm sorry. Yeah.
But just saying, it's like when he said everything is media. Oh my God. I'm like, okay, now I see how to use media in a different way. And when everybody goes around the room, it's like, oh man, that's great, man, that's good, man, that song was great. We're going to use Tupac or whatever. And the strategist says off strategy. What do you mean it's off strategy? Well, we're trying to do this, this, and this, but that doesn't, and you realize, oh, that's what's wrong with it. Oh, okay. So you begin to put all these things together. Yeah. And that's make you whole, because I'm not I started as a creative, but I'm an ad person. I'm a marketer. At the end of the day, I'm a marketer. And there's a lot of levels you need to push and pull to be successful. Yeah. If you're only going to be a creative, then You can't have a conversation with the strategist. You can't have a conversation with the media person. You're not going to hear an idea and say, that's really great, but it's only going to be a TV commercial. I can't. That's not going to take us anywhere. I need something that this idea is going to go from this platform to that platform to this platform and that platform, and able to express itself the way it needs to express itself within those platforms. And you got to have the vision to see that at the conceptual level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's one of the things that's really important when it comes, like, at the end of the day, you just don't want to be a creative. You want to be an ad person. You want to be a marketing person. You can't sit and have a conversation with a CMO just talking about the song you chose. Right? You know what I mean? Like, you know, you're not going to have that conversation. And you're not going to be able to steer other creatives when they bring ideas in the room. You got to say, that part is nice, that part is good. Oh, okay, we're going to take this and attach it to that. So you can orchestrate this thing, because if you understand all the facets of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Hearing you describe this, Louis, I think about a guy we know by the name of Gene Vernado, I believe is his last name. He used to work in the Chicago agency industry, and Boeing was one of his clients. And he has this story he tells about how nobody cared about Boeing for a long time at that agency because Boeing wasn't the TV commercial client, right? They were the, you know, banner ads type of client, right? $15,000 budget, $1 million budget, right? And he talks about how one time they came to the agency thinking that their solution was a banner ad for a campaign that ended up being a TV commercial centered around the Obama inauguration, right? And so I don't want to give it all away because we'll probably have him here at some point, but it goes to show, and his lesson hearing him tell that story is what you're saying, which is, you know, don't give me your solution, give me your problem, right? Or your need, and we'll figure out what the solution is. And so what could have just been a few $1,000s, right, and a banner ad turned into something much bigger on a much bigger scale with that same thinking. But if you didn't have that insight to say, well, this could be that, then that could have been, okay, here's your banner ad, thank you very much.
Let's go ahead. I'm sorry. So let's shift a little bit. And we talked about agency. You had a wealth of experience working with several brands and things of that nature. Let's talk about brands a little bit, right? Because as a creative, as an agency, as people that have passions and ambitions, we want to work with like the big brands, whatever the case may be. But big brands haven't always been big brands. You know what I'm saying? We talked about that. You know, can you talk about some of the brands that you've worked with and some success stories that you've had with these brands and how you've seen them develop over time, and maybe some brands had got it right then and maybe are still getting it right now? Like, what has your journey or your story been working with brands and companies?
That's pretty interesting. You know, I've seen brands be cool, then you fall out of favor, and then how do you get back? And that's one of the biggest things that I've learned is, like, it's easy if you're a small brand. If you make a mistake or whatever, nobody cares. Nobody knows. Your stock price doesn't go down. Right. You're not getting written up in Ad Age about who screwed up. Nobody's getting fired. But one of the things when working on the big national and global brands, there's a lot at stake. And I've been fortunate enough to work on some brands where, like, again, in favor, society changes. Like, you know, if you're into fast food, fast food is good. And all of a sudden, fast food is bad. These people don't put poison in your body. Right? Boom, blah, blah. Okay, we don't eat that no more. Okay, so what do we do is try to sell some stuff. So now you're doing things that you shouldn't be doing because you're trying to cater to people who doesn't, you know, I'm trying to talk to people that don't want to talk to you. I'm trying to convince somebody that don't like you. And you don't know, you're trying everything, you're throwing everything against the wall. And then you finally nail something. Then you have this resurgence. That's the biggest story that I learned from working with brands, you know, from the big brands. What everybody can do well when everything is doing well. What happens when you're not doing well? That's where the learning comes from. when you're not doing well.
Yeah.
And then how do you get back on track?
Yeah.
And that's really, problem solving. And it could be a creative, it could be distribution, it could be a lot of different things. And sometimes just society changes.
Yeah.
Lifestyle changes, right?
Yeah.
We care more about what we put in our bodies. Your menu may have to change. Right? You got to stop putting red dye 47 and stuff. And then and it's really, that's the biggest thing I learned from working on brands. Smaller brands is like good, great, whatever. But when I went to Leo Burnett, that was like my biggest big brand world. And that's when I was able to have those kinds of stories where you see a brand is good, falls out of favor. Boom. You can see it in today's world now. I was like, a lot of the ladies love Lululemon. It was like Lululemon was boom, 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 boom. Now Elo is like on their butts. Right. You can see they're struggling. Yeah. Nike, right? Nike just said that, wow, the sales have been going like that. Now what are you going to do? You got these upstart brands coming up this way. So that's when you got to look at a brand and see how they handle the missteps. How do you handle lifestyle changes or just simply societal changes? That's where the learning comes in. So study those and see what you would have done to do that, right? You saw the thing with Cracker Barrel, right, with the logo change, and now it's like, and now it's also too what's really going to eat. The court of public opinion is so much bigger now.
Oh yeah,
right? Because everybody that's got a cell phone can make it. Has an opinion on what you do.
Yeah, hot take.
Right. What do you listen to? What you don't listen to.
Right.
Who do you listen to? Who you don't listen to.
Yeah.
And everybody have some kind of influence these days. And that's why Nike's always been great sometimes when they think about the Kaepernick thing they did, right? And
Dream Crazy campaign.
Dream Crazy, you know what I mean? And then they stuck with them and something, but I don't know. So my biggest learning is that from good till you got a problem, you learn when you have a problem, and then the thing is to get back to where you were. Yeah. That's where the learning curve really helps.
So anyone, Lewis, who's been following you on LinkedIn, at least in the last year that I have, you have an interesting way of presenting, information, whatever you're working on, ideas, campaigns, whatever. I came across a post you made about how brands need to retire pickleball being featured in their spots.
Oh yeah, you saw a lot in the Super Bowl. Commercial.
I didn't realize that was a thing.
I was like a note to creative directors: don't approve any more ads with pickleball in it. And it was like, when is somebody going to say that's been done?
That's enough.
That's been done. I mean, as a creative, you want to do something new, and we kind of jumped on this trend of pickleball. I don't care. I was sitting home one time. I was like, those are 5 different commercials I saw. It had some form of pickleball in it.
Because it's on the rise, yeah.
It's on the rise. So we all running to pickleball? It was a time that you look at pickleball. Okay, y'all did pickleball. So that's the last thing we're going to do. Or we're going to do it in such a way. You know what I mean? So it's all these copycats. I'm like, where's the creativity? Where's somebody's done that before? That's the easy way out, creatives. So I just told you, like, if you come in, I was, hey, it's dead. If you got pickleball in your spot,
don't even
your
pitch
spot, whatever idea you have is dead. Nonetheless, it better be really, really good to get over that hump.
Right.
And I just was like amazed, like, what's happening in the industry? Are we lazy?
Yeah.
To jump on a trend like that and stay on it?
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm happy that you brought that up because somebody asked me the other week about the Super Bowl ads this past year, and I was saying that it felt very easy.
Safe.
Felt very safe. That's the word I used. But it felt very safe. To that point, man, it's marketing mentality, man. We got our mentals on point, man. Yeah. How would you approach a Super Bowl ad these days, right? You got certain brands, like for example, Nike. Nike had a big one, right? They had a stance on women empowerment in sports and everything, whatever. How would you, from a brand perspective, like if a brand came to you and wanted to shake things up, how would you be thinking about a Super Bowl ad or a campaign that would, shake the table a little bit without being safe? Is that word I use?
Well, it's really, I gotta say, in my career, I've done maybe 3 or 4 ads that appeared on Super Bowl, and
that's dope, man.
It's nothing like waiting for your spot or idea to come up on the Super Bowl. It's like, you know, you in the Super Bowl. It's like creatively, you go, okay, I'm okay. All right now. Okay, I'm good. My career can stop right here. I'm good. I've been on the Super Bowl. I would start with the brand. So often, people go at Super Bowl commercials trying to impress
The audience.
the audience.
Yeah.
What is your brand? Stay true to your brand. Don't throw away all the things you've been doing all year. Because your Super Bowl idea could be already in something you already have
Rolling out already. Yeah.
Or different. But why are you there? Why are you on the Super Bowl? You got to ask yourself why are you there and what you want to take advantage of. So first of all, you have to look at what brand is coming to you. What are you trying to do? Do you have any news? Are you launching a new car? Is it a new product? Why are you there? He's not paying $500 million for 30 seconds just to say I got the money to be on the Super Bowl.
$7 million, but
Right,
who's counting?
it's like all these marketing, all the good sense of marketing just goes out the window sometimes. Like, go get a celebrity, and then do this, and how many explosions can you put in it? And it's like, what big celebrity can you use? Or maybe we put 5 in there, and you go, but what are you trying to do at the end of the day? And that's why sometimes, like, the simplest ad, like the one with the little bouncing ball and the bouncing words that's kind of solar. It's like, be true to your brand, be true to who you are.
Yeah.
Don't worry about whether or not you're going to win the Super Bowl or not. Because you can win the Super Bowl but lose the marketing opportunity.
Yeah.
So just stay who you are, stay true to your brand. Do you have any news? Why are you there in the first place? And try to go at it a unique way.
Yeah.
And then just push yourself to say, okay, this is an opportunity that I'm going to get people that may not have heard about my brand, or they may feel a certain way about my brand. What impression can I leave upon them?
Yeah.
You know, when I have this opportunity to talk to individuals that I never have the opportunity to talk to.
Yeah.
What can I say to them? What can I give to them that's going to be special and unique?
Yeah.
And then go at it that way, and then then build upon that.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, now what if we did this? Okay. Well, what if we did that? Start that, and then just build upon it.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, you have something fantastic.
Yeah. The new Super Bowl ad now, we have a large audience, and we have this creative studio now, so we're attracting a lot of creators, right?
Okay.
Which that's the new mini Super Bowl ad these days all year round, right? Brands want to tap into that influencer's audience to create, and they pay them to advertise the brand, right?
Right.
Can you speak to the modern creator right now that's struggling with creating content that resonates with the audience they're looking to reach, or the audience, or the content that they're creating on behalf of the brand, and that feels addy, right? We all know what addy content feels like. It's just like it feels like you're force feeding it to me versus being true to who you are. Can you speak to that audience right now?
Yeah, I think it goes back to technology has been good and bad. Because it's giving everybody the tool to do something.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of people that shouldn't be doing this. And you have to first ask yourself, do you really truly have the talent to do what you're trying to do? Are you qualified to make the content that you're making?
Okay.
Do you have the education? Why? I mean, I've seen a lot of young ladies do makeup. And they've gotten contracts with beauty companies, which is great. So, okay, all right. I'm a young lady. I'm putting on makeup every morning. I know why you may do that, and you may have a different way to go about doing that. But a lot of content people just want to do it because that's the trend, and then it's kind of like you can make a lot of easy money doing it. But let's respect the craft. Respect the craft. You know, study again. I still go back to the foundation of craft, the respect of jumping into the pool with people who've done so many great things, but you really haven't taken the time yourself to understand.
Yeah.
And you might get that success for a short time, but it's not going to be long term.
Yeah.
So really sit down and understand human behavior, because social media is really about human behavior.
Yeah.
You know, everybody want to be an influencer, and it's like we're not treating it seriously. we don't have this foundation of why we do the things we do. And some people sort of like figured it out, but they don't tell you how they did it, because I'm not going to tell you how I figured it out, right? They experimented with so many things so many times, and they finally got a way to get there. But they're not going to tell you I did it 15,000 times, right? Then I finally found this thing to do. Right. But I think people need to step back and take it more seriously. And I'm not talking old school, like you need to go, climb the, I had to go to school both ways, uphill and all in the snowstorm. I'm not talking about that. Just have respect for your craft. Learn it, understand it, and because everything has been content. Content didn't just start. We talk about content like all of a sudden content just came a few years ago. Mm-hmm. Back to everything is media, everything is content. Yep. A really great TV spot can make good content. Content always been here. So you're not making anything new. Find out the things that people want to lean into, whether or not it's informational. Because the content, I think, is do-it-yourself is like the biggest content thing on YouTube than anything else. Mm-hmm. But just sort of like just say it's something I like to do. Understand what is it that you're really, truly trying to do, and don't get suckered into the, I can make a lot of money real quick thing.
Yeah. I think, Louis, for a lot of young folks, right, it's hard to have that vision.
Yeah.
And go past what's right in front of you.
That's true.
See what's to come.
That's true.
For you, right, when you think about the decisions you've made over your career, what's a decision that, at the time it felt small, right? And then hindsight, it was pivotal.
Oh, man. I thought about that, and I got to go back to my sophomore year in college. I was an artist, so how are you going to make money as an artist? I had no idea. I mean, I didn't know anybody who was an artist. I didn't know anything about advertising. I didn't know anything about anything other than I loved to draw. So when I went to college, I majored in art. And in Macon, Georgia, I went to school called Mercer University. They had a women's college down the street called Wesleyan College. Yeah. They had a course called commercial art. And for some reason I go, and they had like an exchange program between the two universities. I said, commercial art. That's like painting signs or something. I go, I guess I'll take that. Little did I know, when I took that class, I found out I had talent not only to be a fine artist, but as a graphic designer. And once I took that class, I go, wow, I can be this thing called a commercial artist. Then I switched schools. So if I didn't take that one class, I just thought I'd just take. Then I went to Kent State University, majored in graphic design. Still didn't know anything about advertising. But then that took me to Kent State to major in graphic design. And then I just so happened to get a job in an ad agency. And then I'm there and I'm watching people. Then I go, oh my God, I'm an art director and had no idea that I was. You know what I mean? So it's sort of like taking that one class on a whim, led me to something else, And had I never taken that class, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to these two handsome young men right now.
Oh, man.
I appreciate
it.
But you know what I mean? It's that was it. And it was like, but again, still didn't know. Yeah. It just kept unfolding. But it put me on that track. Right. To now I'm like, from art director, commercial, to whatever I am now.
Is drawing something that you still do?
I don't.
You don't draw anymore?
I don't draw anymore.
Why not?
I don't know. I just, I fell in love with advertising. I fell in love with, just the concept of things. Yeah. And I put my pencil down. I was going through some of my stuff. And I saw some drawings that I did. I go, that was pretty good. I've got some paintings. It's like, great. It's really good stuff. But I got that ad bug, and I got that this advertising thing, and it just drawing just became. But I know a lot of guys who art directors, they still continue to paint and draw through the whole thing, and but I just put it down and just fell in love with this more, I guess.
Yeah. So even without that, just when it comes to creativity in general, and your need to tap into it when you do, where's somewhere you go, either literally, right, or figuratively, to hone that creative bug and those juices?
You ever ran a marathon?
No, but I'm running a 5K very soon.
What's the start? You ever run a marathon?
No,
No.
I haven't.
We'll run a marathon, and that's where
He's doing the 5K too. I
The
convinced him.
5K. Okay, I won't hold that against y'all. But why I say that is because when I run, that's when my ideas come. And
So you're a marathon runner as well?
I've run 32 marathons.
Oh wow!
And
Part 2 coming soon.
but it's not really the marathon. It's like to run a marathon, you got to run. It's this 26.2 miles, but to get to that, you got to run. You got to put the work in. I just find out that when I'm running, it's something about running. Your mind just sort of one foot in front of the other. It lets your subconscious sort of think. And something just shakes up from down here, it comes up to the frontal lobe.
Wow.
I just find that's my place, that I have to go for a run and ideas kind of happen.
Wow.
Interesting.
I don't know why that happened, whatever that happened. Some people go and take a shower, some people go to a museum. When I run, I just something happens.
I love it.
I
got a question for you. Name your top 3 campaigns that you've been a part of that you feel like, I really did that. I was my bag with that one.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah, on the spot.
Okay, I go back to, I did my self-promo campaign myself.
Okay.
I did it with some print ads, and I did some headlines I did for me trying to get a job. That's when I figured out I was a brand. So I used my own lack of being able to get into business. Yeah. I did this one print campaign. One headline was Lewis Williams wants to keep your agency in the black. You know what I mean? Because when you're a business, you're in the red, you're all right. Yeah. But when Lewis Williams wants to keep your agency in the black, and that was like, and I milled that out. That was one thing, just talking about myself. Yeah. One fun thing that I got a chance, this ad history, you guys, before your time. Budweiser did a campaign called Bud Bowl. Okay. And these bottles, animated bottles, not animated, the real bottles, stop motion, that played football, Bud against Bud Light. Mm-hmm. I didn't create the campaign. I did Bud Bowl 3. Budweiser plays Bud Light. And it was a Super Bowl. It was a Super Bowl campaign. And that was really great because Budweiser bought 5 minutes in the Super Bowl. So we had 5 minutes on the Super Bowl to do all these commercials.
Yeah, our first podcast episode is real quick. We talked about who's ever spent the most money in Super Bowl, and Budweiser's number one.
Number one.
They spent the most since Super Bowl.
They say here's 5 minutes. So kudos to the creatives that came up with Bud Bowl 1, Bud Bowl 2. I was part of Bud Bowl 3, which was fantastic. Yeah. And this last one I did for the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center, and it's in Cincinnati, museum in Cincinnati. And it talks about the power of one voice. The power of one voice is being you in the room, somebody says something negative about a community that's not in that room, and nobody says anything. Everybody laughs at the joke, or nobody just speaks up for that community that's not in the room. Yeah. And so we did a campaign for that. That was... What I love about that is that the United Nations gave it an award. So, you got the Clio and the can and all that, and all that kind of stuff. But for the United Nations to give it a special award was something special.
Wow. That's beautiful, man.
And, unfortunately, you can run it now. I mean, we did these 20 years ago. I can take each one of those commercials and run it now.
And it will still resonate.
I'll send it to you. It still resonates.
Yeah. It's a test of time.
Unfortunately, but you still run it today.
Yeah. you mentioned your self-promotion campaign, and it seems like that's something that's carried even to the present day that you like to kind of position yourself across the internet with. So I came across, we got it on the screen right here, but I came across a post from some months ago. You said, "I'm happy to announce that I have reached the status of overqualified." And this LinkedIn post has almost 3,000 likes, so clearly very engaged. I'm happy to announce that I've reached the status of overqualified. Talk about that.
You know, as we talked about when you say Wes Lewis story at the top, we was talking about that. So you go from young, don't trust nobody over 30, then all of a sudden you become an OG and people want to age you out. And so like I'm at this point in my career where it's like ageism. It's ageism. I've been dealing with being black my whole, now I got to put ageism on top of that. You don't get it. It costs too much money, So when I was thinking about attacking that head on LinkedIn, first I was coming at it a little bit bitter. Who are you? I go, wait a minute. This is a blessing. This is a blessing. It's like, I'm happy I've reached overqualified, which means that I'm at a level where you think you can't afford me. I'm at a level where I know too much. Well, you can never know too much. Right. And when a recruiter told me that, I go, would you tell a brain surgeon before they get ready to work on your brain that you're overqualified?
No,
I said, that really doesn't make any sense, does it? So I thought I would attack ageism head on. So let's do a smile about it. Let's smile about it. And let's wear it as a badge of honor. Because I was talking to some Gen Zs, it's like, it's going to be your turn one day. It's going to be it's going to be your turn. Where everybody kind of, being in this position, I've seen Gen X, everybody was like trying to appease Gen X. Kicked them to the side, and all of a sudden it was Gen X, then it was millennials.
Yeah, which we are.
Yeah, everybody, we then, okay, y'all run to the end of y'all little run. Get ready for that.
that hot sauce going to mouth right now.
Yeah, Gen Z is all up in you now. Oh, yeah. And then now we're talking about alpha. Yeah. And so everybody has their turn in the sun. So I just smile and say, your time's coming. But it's like, let's embrace overqualified as a badge of honor. And the reason why I got so many likes was so many people like me and said, hey, look, don't toss us aside. We still have a lot to contribute to the industry. Yeah. We are still good at what we do. Don't make technology think that we can't do this anymore, because we understand it, because we saw it created, because we have a point of reference. We was here before you had that. So you understand that it was all about evolution. The technology, it's really evolution. So we are evolving. So the more you've seen something evolve, the more intelligent you'd be about making decisions and coming up with even fresh ideas, because you've seen what's been there before, what worked, what didn't work, what you can bring back in a different way. And you see it in fashion all the time. People always constantly bringing things back. Even in music, people redo songs. Yeah. You know what I mean? But in this industry, we don't do that. So I just thought I'd just look it right in the camera and just embrace, I'm overqualified and I'm proud.
Yeah. Responded.
Let's go.
There you go. Yeah. So on the other end of the spectrum, right, for the next chief creative officer, art director, and so on, right, in order to be great, fill in the blank for us. What does that person that, is shooting for that North Star need to be?
They need to be a great leader. One of the things that I've found in this industry, that you don't have to do it alone. If you're a great leader, where you listen, you learn, you observe, and not try to be it yourself. If you're able to do that and come up with ideas versus executions, regardless of platform, because platform's it's gonna be another platform. You know what I mean? Do you remember when it went TikTok? Right? We remember that. Y'all old enough to remember, right?
Yeah. Everybody was like, no, I'm not gonna get on TikTok. That's for
right. So it's gonna always, pretty soon it's gonna go somewhere, and then it's gonna be, so just really be a leader and be a sponge. you got to really be a sponge and learn from OGs like me, you know, and just listen to the world around you. And you don't have to be the smartest person in the room, you know what I mean? And that's okay.
Yeah.
So you really got to be open to, because right now we get such this individual thing now. We've kind of gotten into that world of me. Like there's no groups anymore. Nobody, you know, used to be groups, and everybody just comes out with solo artists. There's a bunch of solo artists now.
Yeah, I'll be talking about that.
You know,
yeah,
it's no groups, man, you know, anymore. Everybody wants to be a solo artist, you know. So anyway, don't be that solo artist.
Don't be that solo artist.
Don't be that solo artist.
Love that.
Last question on my end. You know, you have Williams Creative Group, right? You're kind of on the job market, it seems, as well, if the right opportunity presents itself. What would you say is, you know, on the other side of right now? What's your vision right now for your roadmap as you see it?
You know, it's really, you know, it's exciting because I don't know. Because, you know, here I'm talking to you because I'm looking at being an educator, because we didn't talk about it, but the One School.
That's right.
We talked about the One School for Black creatives.
Shout out to One School.
Shout out to One School. We're going to be starting it in September. So I love mentoring. I love mentoring. So it's going to be more of a mentoring role, but I don't want to mentor and not be active.
Practice.
You know, I got to know what's happening. So if I'm mentoring someone or teaching someone or sharing with somebody, I'm in the game. So I have the time now, because when you really working every day, it's hard to mentor because you got problems every day and you don't have that time to get on the phone to talk to some young person from Kansas that's want to talk to you.
Yeah.
So now I got the time to do that. So I'm looking at that. I'm starting a podcast called OGs and Aunties. Hopefully going to break with that in about a couple of weeks. So I'm just in that mentorship, educational thing, still want to do it and still want to create, because you don't stop creating.
Nope.
You know, nobody, okay, let me stop creating. I don't do that. I haven't done that, and I never will. You know, I'm even thinking about designing my own obituary. It's going to be off the hook. You know what I mean?
like a video obituary.
I'm going to do something. I'm going to go out. It's going to be only an ad person would have done that.
Why not? Why
Leave
not?
like a message for everybody. If you're watching this,
I'm going to do something. I'm thinking about
It means I'm not here anymore.
If you're watching this, you know, I'm going to think about something, but I'm going to just make sure that's kind of wrapped.
It's gonna be like a green room testimony type of thing.
It's going to be something. It's going to be something. I got to go out like that.
nah, that's beautiful, man. Well, we appreciate the time, man. We're going to connect with you after the podcast when the cameras go off, man. It's a lot of knowledge that we can learn from. And, you know, we are learners of the game as well, right? In order to know where you want to go, you got to know where you came from, right? Yeah. And you've paved the way for a lot of ideas, a lot of creators, a lot of entrepreneurs that look like us, man. And we want to keep that in our hands, right? Because that's going to help us build up the next generation after that, man. So it's beautiful, man. We appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
If you're watching this, man, you just heard a lot of gems from our homie, our friend, our mentor, our OG, Mr. Overqualified himself, Mr. Lewis, man. We appreciate you, man. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment. Tell us what you want to hear about, man. We're bringing on a lot of guests this season. We're super excited. This has been Marketing Mentality. Stay tuned.